Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is indeed his messenger. I'd like to greet all of you in our nation's greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
How's everybody doing?
Fine, sir.
All praise is due to Allah. Let's give all of the speakers that came up before another round of applause. Now, this month, again, we are dealing again with equality. And it is my attempt to try to take it past the basic definition of what equality is. Because we know, as from last week, that, not all of us are going to be equal based off size and different factors that play into what makes us who we are. But I'm not trying to be, what we want to be equal to is all things in creation. All right, we want to be, in order for us to be equal to everything in creation. We learned last week, Brother Tavares so eloquently broke it down to us, man. We have to justify our existence. We have to justify our existence. And Mr. Farrakhan, now I've been reading this book, Closing the Gap. Right. So a lot of what I'm talking about is basically my interpretation of the information within this book. So don't think I'm up here better than anybody. I'm just been studying a little bit, you know what I mean? So Mr. Farrakhan said, when the question was asked, how does one justify themselves or justify their existence? Mr. Farrakhan said that from my understanding, a thing is justified by being itself. Being itself means developing in accord with the nature of its creation. When it develops along the natural lines for which it was created, it fulfills its purpose for creation, thereby justifying itself. Now, I want to unpack that a little bit because it was a lot said in that statement, man. And it goes back on a lot of what we talked about before. It said when we unpack it, it said a thing justifies itself by being itself. So do you think that when you look at ourselves, have we been being ourselves?
No, sir.
We are Muslim by nature, whether you can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. But by nature, you're a Muslim. And a Muslim is one who is in complete submission to the will of Allah. So by being ourselves, we justify ourselves, right? Then it says, being itself means developing in accord with the nature of its creation. There we go talking about that law that governs our nature, or governs our behavior, right? We talked about this already. Our nature is submission. The more we yield to the higher power, the more we have access to that power.
That's right.
All right? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
When we develop along the natural lines for which we are created, it fulfills its purpose for creation, thereby justifying itself again, right? So if we are all Allah, right, we're taught that we are all Allah, all right? And Psalms 82 says that ye are all gods and children of the Most High God. It didn't say you are a God and you are a God and the rest of you are peasants.
Come on.
It says you are all gods.
Right.
All right, and children of the Most High God. So what that means is the only difference between those, because we all know that Allah, He has His favorites and He exalts whom He pleases.
Come on, man.
But when He exalts someone, He does it for a purpose. So
right.
that person can be an example,
right,
or a mirror of yourself. Because see, when He exalts that person, if you see what that person did in order for them to be exalted, and if you follow in the footsteps of what that person did, then you too can achieve the same exaltation.
Yes, sir.
So when we look at the life of Jesus, the life and the times of Jesus, we saw that, now this is a perfect example of what we can be. When we look at the life of Jesus and the times of Jesus, we saw that in the beginning of His ministry, He submitted Himself completely to the Father. Is that right?
That's right.
He loved and spoke of the authority of His Father. He said, I can of myself do nothing.
That's right.
He said, the Father doeth the work. Is that right?
That's right.
He said, no man cometh unto me except by the Father.
That's right. Right.
But as Jesus grew into His ministry, we saw that, and He continued to be obedient to the authority. You began to see Him perform miracles. He was healing the sick, raising the dead. He was doing all of this stuff because He was obedient. He began to do the will of the Father. We had an opportunity to see the merging of the mind, the son of a carpenter,
Come on.
began to merge his mind with the Christ, the
Come
mind
on.
of the Christ. You know what I'm saying? We began to see him come from a man just like every
Come on.
one of us, and we watched him evolve into God.
Right.
We saw the very same person. You know, he began to speak differently. He started talking about he said when the disciples asked him, he said, when will we see the Father?
Come on now.
He said, how much longer must I suffer with you?
Come on. Come on.
He said, when you look at it, he got disappointed with him because he said, all the miracles that he had performed, and yet y'all still do not believe.
Right.
He said, when you see me, you see the Father.
That's right.
He said, I am in him, and he is in me.
That's
Right.
He did see that. So we had an opportunity to watch a man turn into God. It only took him 3 years.
Come on, man.
And towards us, you know what I'm saying? Now, he said that I am the resurrection and the life. But see, what we tend to do a lot of times is that we miss the forest because we too busy looking at the
That's
tree.
true.
Right.
Come on,
Sound like
man.
my mama. Sound like my mama. Brother Killeen.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man.
All praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. You see, when we look at Jesus, we saw that the more he yielded to the source of his authority, the more he had gained access to it. Right. And that by the end of his ministry, or the so-called end of his ministry, when you saw him, you saw a divine spirit operating in human form at its full potential.
That's
you
right.
saw God in the flesh.
That's right. Come on.
He turned into God right before our face.
That's
So
right.
See, the problem he had is the same problem that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has. The same problem he had with his disciples is the same problem that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan had. It's that we too busy looking at him.
Come on.
We follow him wherever he go. Right. We gonna be there.
Come on.
Right.
He said, do this, we gonna do that. But but we missed the message. We missed what he was trying to show us. And I'm getting
Come
a little
on,
bit ahead
man.
of myself. We missed it because what he was trying to show us that he is the mirror.
Right.
When we're looking at him, we're looking at ourselves.
Right.
See, we were created imperfect so that we can be shaped into perfection.
Come on, man.
That way we can justify our existence. See, when we yield to the law that governs our nature, we go through a process of change, growth, and transition.
That's right.
And see, what tends to happen is that, although we are all created with matter, which makes us equal, you know what I'm saying? Although we are all created with matter, and we are created with a law that governs our nature, not all of us follow that law, that which makes us unequal. So the only difference between myself and Jesus, or myself and the minister, is the level at which we adhere to the law that governs our nature.
Come on, man.
See, we are the same mind. It's just the orientation of the mind is different.
Right.
See, and as we grow, when we grow together, when we don't grow together, we form gaps. See, this is why we must study. And as you adhere to the law, as long as you adhere to the law, you begin to grow. And the more you, like I said, the more you have access to it, the more you get to it. The more you yield to it, the more access you have to it, and the more you begin to grow. What tends to happen is that you have some of us who study hard and some of us that don't.
Yes,
and
sir.
as a result of it, you have some that will begin to grow at a level that's faster than the others, and then we'll begin to start speaking in a way that you be like, what this nigga talking about?
Come on. Right.
How many of y'all, and I was guilty of it too. How many of y'all felt some type of way when Mr. Farrakhan said that he was a God? When I first heard him say that, I'm like, I was still weak. I was weak in my understanding. So when I first heard him say that, I was like, oh, here we go.
Right.
Here we go. We get up with his age. Now he's going to talk about he gone.
Right.
But that's because of my own lack of understanding, my own lack of development, the clot that had formed between me and my teacher.
Come on.
I was unable to follow my teacher, just like Moses was unable to follow the wise man, because he had a lack of understanding,
right.
He had a lack of knowledge, and he did not have faith. So
right.
he was unable to follow the wise man. And so what happens is, when we continue to grow like that, this is what happens. This is what causes the parting of ways.
Right.
This is why we have so many different sects in religion.
Come on.
We have two different forms of the Nation of Islam.
Right.
It's because we got so comfortable in that old knowledge, that old understanding. And so now we don't have to struggle no more. We don't have to struggle to prove that knowledge.
Come on, man.
Comfortable. So when the new knowledge presents itself, you were like, well, shoot, it presents a struggle with it. And you don't want to struggle with it, so because you believe what you want to stay in that old knowledge, and then you want to criticize the evolution.
Mm-hmm.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad told Mr. Farrakhan that he told him not to teach the teachers the way he taught.
That's right. That's what he said.
He said to teach what it means.
Right.
And so that evolution of teachings, it caused a gap in some of the members that followed him.
That's
so
a fact.
Those people started to break off because they felt like he was changing the teachings.
Right.
But all he was doing was grow, change, and then transition.
Right.
But see, that could be a dangerous process because the very same people that's following you, if they're not growing, if they're not changing, and if they're not transitioning at the same time as you are at the same rate, they begin to criticize your change.
Come on.
They begin to criticize your growth, and they begin to criticize your transition.
Come on.
So, we can I got ahead of myself.
Take your time, brother.
Take your time.
All right. But as we begin to grow, as we continue to grow in the teachers, and as we begin to grow into the understandings of the teachers, when we go back and then we look at where we started from and what we used to say, we begin to pick up a different meaning, a deeper meaning of the teachers, a deeper understanding of the teachers. Just like Jesus, when Jesus started his ministry, at first he was only teaching the children of Israel.
Right. That's right. That's right.
He only taught the Jews.
That's right.
But as he began to grow and understand his mission, he began to get a better understanding of what he was tasked to do, he said for the disciples to go out and teach everybody, to teach the Gentiles. The same way with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He came in the game at first, he was just teaching us. But as he began to understand his mission, that's why he called the minister in and said, stop calling the white man the devil.
Right.
I think he said, why you keep pouring trash into the pot, or to I'm paraphrasing, he said, why you keep pouring trash into the fountain that I'm trying to drink from?
Right. Come on, man.
Why you keep calling them the devil? That's why he said to change it up. And say the children's, the children of our former slave masters, call them Satan, the creators of devil. You know,
right.
He said change it up because at the end of the day, God came to save all of us. Right. But see, by him saving the lowest of the low first, it's not that to mean that we special.
Come on.
That don't mean that we better than anybody else. It's that by him starting with us first, and then he take us from nothing and he elevate us up high. What he's doing is he's showing his power.
Come on,
so
man.
The rest of the world, when they see us, when they see him exalting us from nothing, then the rest of the world will fall in place.
That's right.
That's right. So so don't think that you're special. Because he said in Psalms 82 again, he said that ye are all gods. Right.
All.
Children of the Most High God. He didn't say just us.
That's right.
He said all of us.
That's right.
All praise to Allah.
Yes, sir. Absolutely fine.
That's right. That's right. So the more we commit ourselves to the law, the more we have access to the law. We become the friend of God.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That means that what your desires become his desires. Mm-hmm. So, and we have that divine example right in front of us right now. When we look at the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, what do we call him? A divine reminder, right?
That's right.
A reminder of what?
God.
Huh? He is the exalted Christ. What was Jesus' mission?
Yeah.
Huh? He wanted to turn everybody into gods. He wanted to make his disciples just like him. That's the reason why he said it is expedient that I go.
Right.
Because the disciples were so fixated on him.
Come on.
That every time something happened, they would bring him to him. Oh, we got a sick person, we'll bring him to him.
Come on.
And then after a while, it was okay because in the beginning stages, he was showing the power. But as he continued to grow on, and he began to get irritated because every time you see somebody that's sick, you keep bringing them to me. But when you have the same power within yourself,
right. Come on, man.
Same thing. But we get so caught up on the picture.
Right.
You can't see the forest for the tree.
Come on, man.
The message that he trying to give us, we missing.
That's right.
Go ahead, bro, Fred.
Hey, don't talk to me that. I'm like, don't do it like that. Like doing something. All right. Oh, man. The Bible teaches us that Jesus is the way to the Father. Just like Mr. Farrakhan is our way to the Father. And we got to stop just looking at the rudimentary things that he doing. When we talk about equality, we got to stop looking at the rudimentary definitions of what equality is. We got to look, because Allah wants us to be himself. That's the reason why he told the angels to submit to man, because he knew that man was going to be the vehicle that he drove in order to manifest himself in the physical realm with us.
Right.
In order for him to be on earth, man is the vehicle that he was going to have to drive. That's why he told the angels to submit to man.
Right.
So, brothers, when you look at yourself, you got to understand that we are all gods.
Right.
And the message that the minister is trying to show us that, you know, yes, do what I tell you, do what I say, and follow me, but I'm also giving you a divine example of what happens when you adhere to the law.
Right.
What you have the ability to become by following the law. Is everybody all right?
Yes, sir.
All praise is due to Allah. See, when Master Farr came here, he came here, his mission was to make us into gods.
Right.
So he raised up the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he commissioned him to carry on his mission into raising us into gods. And then what did he do? Master Farr, the honorable Elijah Muhammad, he raised up the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he gave him the same mission to turn us into gods.
That's right.
He had marked the way for us, brothers and sisters. He had already created a pathway. All we have to do is follow that path, brothers and sisters. And it shouldn't take us 64 years. It took Jesus 3 years.
Right.
So it took Mr. Farrakhan 64 years, but if we follow the path of both him and Jesus, it shouldn't take us that long to get there, brothers and sisters.
That's right.
We already got the path made for us. All we have to do is follow it.
That's it.
All right? May Allah bless the listeners. I pray that whatever I said, I hope it resonated with you. I hope that you can take from what I said and apply it to your own life. Like I said, may Allah bless the listeners. I greet you all in the manner in which I came. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Well, I would like for everyone to join me in a round of applause as I bring up our brother Tavares Muhammad.